Good morning, ma'am.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hope all the 87 or 89 people, they have joined the class today. How many students are there in the final year? Total?
Please,
Am I audible? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
you are
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I think so. Everybody, I hope 80 participants are there. So I hope everybody joined without missing the class. Shall we start the session today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So before I start towards feminist poetics, do you have any doubts in yesterday's class, tradition and individual talent? I think you have all shared that PPT and have gone through it. If you have any questions or doubts, let me know, okay? Without much hesitation. If it is clear, we will move to the next important chapter, that is towards a feminist poetics by Elaine Shawwalter.
It is clear, madam, yesterday.
Okay. So without much delay, we will start. And if possible, we can complete it easily or early also. Okay. If you will cooperate, we can close the session a little early also, without much fuss or any confusions. So this is a topic completely related to 20th century, as per the title of your paper, 20th century literary criticism and theory. This is also one theoretical concept, feminism, related to feminism. And feminism is totally a new approach or a new trend, or we can also say it is a new theory which evolved in 20th century. So what is feminism? Feminism is completely related to women's subject or women-oriented subject. So little background help is very, very needed to understand this topic towards a feminist poetics. So first, my focus will be on what is poetics, then what is feminism, and then what are the consequences of this movement, whether it is a successful movement or not. Then about Elaine Shawwalter and about her essay. This is how I have divided my class. First, let us see what is poetics. Okay, then feminism, and then what are the historical concepts of this feminism, why there is a need of having this feminism as a new theory, what is the pressing needs, and then we will focus on Elaine Shawwalter's proper essay, which is prescribed in your syllabus. Is it okay? Then
Yes,
one more important point here I wanted to mention is once again I want to go back to tradition and individual talent. Here, if you will check your syllabus copy, your criticism book and syllabus copy, the first unit is completely your backgrounds. What are these backgrounds? You have new criticism, psychoanalytical criticism, feminism, reader response theory, like that. All the first chapters or first unit is completely filled with your background topics. Background topics they have established all these individual works from unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 and unit 5 are individual works. Main aspects of Indian aesthetics is by M. Hirianna. Then T.S. Eliot's Tradition in Individual Talent, Elaine Shawwalter's Feminist Poetics, like that. All these second, third, fourth and fifth units are individual works, whereas the first unit is the traditional background which you have to always refer to. So before I start Elaine Shawwalter's essay, I have to go to feminism concept also. Like that, you have to always depend on some past, some traditional kind of a layout or some traditional kind of background to which you have always to refer to produce individual talent or individual work, individual concept. Clear? Is it clear with that example also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, please do refer always to your syllabus copy. Which particular topic is connected to which background. Like that, you have to check. Okay, I will start my presentation. Okay. So, this is all about, first we will check with feminism. Okay. Towards a feminist poetics. The term poetics designates both a field of study, it designates both a field of study and the practice of a particular author. Field of study and practice of a particular author or group of authors. So, poetics means completely related to literary aspects or literary works. It designates both field of study and the practice of a particular author or group of authors. Then, traditionally, the term poetics has been interpreted, it is been accepted or it is been understood as an inquiry into the laws and principles. This is most important, laws and principles that emphasize, that underlie a verbal work of art. It is underlie a verbal work of art. Suppose a work or a drama or a poem is written. First, this poetics has been interpreted as an inquiry. Inquiry means questioning, interrogation or investigation into the laws and principles that emphasize or that underlie, that hidden in a verbal work of art. This is all about poetics. Poetics means, simply, to put it in simple words, we say that poetics is something related to poetry. Okay, but Elaine Shawwalter has taken this title related to Aristotle's Poetics. First, it is Aristotle's Poetics also. What is the importance of Aristotle's Poetics of 3rd century BC, who is a Greek philosopher? He examines, Aristotle's Poetics examines the essence of poetry. It examines the essence of poetry and distinguishes its various species like epic poetry, tragedy, comedy, etc. and many other things. Aristotle's Poetics has established the laws and principles of poetry. Now, comparing to that, feminist poetics. What is feminist poetics? It calls for a separate, this is very important, feminist poetics calls for a separate and autonomous model. What is meant by autonomous? Completely free, or completely free from one authority. What is your college? My college is an autonomous college. Why? What is autonomous college means? It is a governing body of its own. It has a governing body of its own. It can design its own timetable. There is no need of following university rules or anything like that. Even feminist poetics is an autonomous model. It is a separate. What separation? From which it separated? It got separated from male authority. Feminist is completely related to what? Female perspectives, female views, female world. It calls for separate. Why separate from male? It wants to distinguish. It wants to get different from male authority. And autonomous model. Autonomous means liberation, freedom. Model of literary theory. It is talking about, see here it talked about Aristotle's Poetics underlies laws and principles of what? Poetry. Here it is about literary theory. By rejecting, once again, please check with rejection. What are these rejection? Which paper? Paper 5. Paper 5, okay? See, I cannot respond to your messages immediately. Once in a while, I will check with your messages and I will clarify your doubts. Okay. Otherwise, it will be too much of distraction. Myself, I will get distracted, and others who are following sincerely will also get distracted. Okay, let us avoid those confusions. Once in a while, definitely, I will check with your messages. Please cooperate. Okay. Now, once again, Aristotle's Poetics, who is a Greek philosopher, very, very famous, he examines the essence of poetry. Means his focus, Aristotle's focus, is on art. It is on art. Whereas Elaine Shawwalter, of 20th century writer, she focused on literary theory. And especially which kind of literary theory, which she wanted to get separated, which she wanted to get liberated. Okay, by doing what? By rejecting or refusing or not accepting. See, rejection is a word which we can pronounce it very easily, but before rejecting, what happened in an individual's mind is very, very important. Simply, what do you want to eat? I mean, any one of you, what do you want to eat, Mr. So-and-so? Ma'am, I want to eat this. I have 2 or 3 options. Out of 2 or 3 options, you will reject 2 and you will have 1. Why you have rejected? You have your own options. You have your own reasons, right? Before rejecting something, before refusing something, there is a lot of work happened in your mind. Like that, even the rejection has some reason. That reason is very, very important. Moreover, they are rejecting what? The inevitability of male models. Inevitability means unavoidable. You cannot avoid, you cannot escape. All words are very, very important. Each and every word I'm explaining. Please check what is feminist poetics. Before you understand the whole theory, you should understand the vocabulary first. Okay. So what is inevitability? Inevitability means unavoidable. You cannot escape. There is no other option left for you of male models. This is female models. They want to separate and liberate from what? From unavoidable male models and theories, and recalling women's literary tradition to the present. This is present time. Past is very, very tragic past. They want to recall women's literary tradition to the present. They want to bring back women's literary tradition to the present generations. Once again, I will repeat once again. This slide is very important. The term poetics designates, it is related to, it is important with what? Field of study and the practice, not only studying, but also implementation, but also practice of a particular author or group of authors. Here authors are Aristotle, then other literary critics. Presently, we are talking about Elaine Shawwalter, like that. Okay. Traditionally, from the beginning, the term poetics has been understood, has been comprehended as an inquiry, as an checking, investigation, interrogation, like thing into the laws, LAWS. Laws and principles that is hidden, that is underlying in a verbal work of art. Aristotle first propounded poetics, first propounded the laws and principles of poetry. How to write poem, how to design a drama. Even you in your first year, I think you have Aristotle's Poetics, one important concept also in your syllabus. Aristotle Poetics deals with how to design a tragedy. What is actually a Greek tragedy? In that Greek tragedy is defined. Then how to construct a plot. A plot should have a proper beginning, middle, and ending. There is also a design propounded there. Then what kind of plots? There are 2 types of plots, simple and complex. Then he has given a detailed picture of who is a tragic hero, what is a tragic flaw, what is meant by cathartic effect. All these, it is like a big Veda for all dramatists and poets. Aristotle's Poetics is so very, very important. It is a guideline book. Okay, like that, even feminist poetics calls for, it is an attempt, it calls for what? For a separate and autonomous model, separate and autonomous model. Are you following, or am I giving too much of stress? This is very important. Okay. Any word, if you are not able to understand, please let me know. Separate and autonomous model of literary theory. It is for literary theory. The difference, it is for art. This is for poetry, whereas this is for literary theory. By rejecting, this is very, very difficult to reject something. Rejecting the inevitability, unavoidable conditions, very great challenge. Though it is unavoidable, you are trying to reject because you don't have any other option. Still, you have taken a lot of big risk or big challenge, inevitability of male models and theories, and recalling, going back, checking with the past, recalling women's literary tradition to the present. Okay, this is all about poetics. Then we will talk about the basic facts. What is the need of separate feminist poets? Also, separate avalsina avasaram enti? What is the need of getting a separate kind of thing? Why do you want to have a separation or a deviation? Let's see, basic facts. There are certain facts, realities here. The term feminism, this is the spelling. The term feminism, coined by French philosopher Charles Fourier in 1837. This is a very recent, we can call it as very recent. In the 19th century itself, we got feminism. Only in the 19th century, we got the concept of feminism. The term feminism is coined by a French philosopher called Charles Fourier in the year 1837. Based on the belief that this feminism word is based on the belief that historically women have been subordinated. They are always subordinated or subjugated or suppressed to men, subordinated to men, and women need to assert their equality. This word came because women, there is presently it is a time, now the time has come to assert their equality. Equality with whom? Equality with men. They want to prove themselves equal with men. Now, feminism aims at what? Feminism aims at what? Aims to eliminate patriarchy. Please have a screenshot or please write down in your book. If you are writing in a book, it is very, very good. You can underline it 100 times. Eliminate patriarchy. Now, what is meant by patriarchy? It is not masculinity or men. We are not against, women are not against, women are not trying to eliminate masculinity or men. We are not rejecting the next gender or our co-gender. We are not against men. We are only against patriarchy. Now, what is meant by patriarchy? That is male dominated or male power. We don't want that male power. We don't want that male power to sit on our head. We don't want to get suppressed under or crushed under this male dominated society. That is called as patriarchy. Okay, now let us check with the traditional concept. What is this traditional concept? We will put a woman in a middle of a room. This woman is standing in the middle of a room. The room is constructed, covered with 4 walls. This is only a example. I'm giving you only an example. There is no window. There is no door. A woman is stuck around 4 walls. All around 4 walls. Now, these 4 walls are considered as boundaries. These 4 walls are considered as limitations. In the name of giving security, in the name of giving them shelter, in the name of giving them a lot of, closed kind of, safe kind of zone. Now, what are these four walls? These four walls are considered as first father, then husband, first father, then brother, third husband, and fourth sons. So women is always surrounded by these patriarchal kind of zone, patriarchal kind of, name called, safety in disguise. In the name of safety, actually, in the name of safety, women are, kept under always subjugation. Women are kept under always a kind of suppression. What are these four walls? Four walls are from the childhood. Please check with the role of a woman or life of a woman. First, she will be taken care by father, then taken care by brother, whether elder or younger. They will be given always support of brother, then third husband. Then at the old age, a woman has to be get suppressed or under the control of sons also. So overall, her life is under patriarchy. What is meant by patriarchy? Did you understand now? Male domination. The women's life is always under patriarchy. This they want to eliminate. Feminism, they want to eliminate. They need freedom or at least some kind of ventilation for that room. A room which is completely congested, which is completely suffocated. They need some ventilation. They need a window or even a door to get or to come out of that male patriarchy. Is that clear? Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we will move to the next. Next point. What is this next point? Liberate. It aims to, feminism aims to liberate. Liberate means to make free or to emancipate or to give a kind of freedom, independence. Liberate women from suppression. Liberate women from suppression. Suppression of what? Suppression of not only physically, but also socially and culturally. These two are also equally important. First, we have to get rid of suppression of physical suppression, physical power. Then, physical domination of men, and then socially and culturally, our society has to change its perspective. Not only one family or one family member, if somebody is giving freedom, it doesn't help. Society also helps. Socially, the perspective of feminism should change. Everybody in the society has to think about giving freedom to women. And then culturally, if society will change, culture will also change. First, physically, then socially, then economically, and then culturally. Even economical freedom also we need. That comes later. Of course, that comes later. But not only suppression, not only physically, but also socially and culturally. If society will change, obviously culture will also change, because society builds culture. Society will build culture, right? What is Indian culture? Indian culture reflects Indian society. What is American culture? American culture reflects American society, the way that people live there. What kind of laws and customs generally they follow is called as culture. Then feminism aims to reconstruct culture. It is reconstruct. What is reconstruct? Vision. First, we are doing our classes. It is first vision. Then, if you will ask us to do revision, are you revising? Are you going through it once again? Revision. Revision means once again checking it. Once again, following all the notes, checking with all the notes. That is called as revision. Ma'am, our house is under reconstruction. Our house is under renovation. Generally we do something means already constructed house. Already we are living in that particular house. We are renovating it. Renovating means doing some modifications, makeover to it, right? So like that, even feminism aims to reconstruct culture. Culture presently is male dominated. So they want to reconstruct it. It is not a simple job. It is not a simple risk. It is very adventurous. It will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of energy. It is a great challenge, but still they want to reconstruct culture, something constructing and then reconstructing. Already constructed culture is male dominated. We want some space. Women want some space. They want to make their own space here. To be inclusive of this culture must include, must add the women's experiences and voices. Experiences or voices. Means their voice must be heard in this male dominated society. Then feminism aims to attain or achieve what? Social, political and economic equality of the sexes. Means male sex and female sex. Attain social, political and economic equality, all these aspects. If these aspects will change, social, political, economic, status will change, obviously culture will also change. Social, political and economic equality of the sexes. Okay? This is all about the basic facts. You have to know what is the aim, feminism, what it aims at. It aims at all these four. Clear?
Yes.
Very good, very good. Then, what is the Western phenomenon of feminism? See, here, basic facts, as I told you, this is purely feminism is purely a Western philosophy. Why Western philosophy or phenomenon? Because in East or in Indian or any other Indian, Asian countries, there is no this movement called feminism. This truly a Western phenomenon. Feminism is truly a Western phenomenon. What is this phenomenon in Asia? In Asia, there is suppression, there is subjugation, but at the same time, there are certain historical concepts where there is women empowerment, where we have history, we have historical facts of women force. Right, even in our mythologies, Indian mythology, Indian philosophy, there is a mention of women having or executing certain powers. But there was a lot of suppression in Western countries. Mostly suppression or subjugation was faced by Western countries. So that is the reason also feminism is totally a Western phenomenon. Generally, there will be a doubt what happened to Eastern philosophy or Eastern phenomenon, madam. Too much of suppression is not there in Asian countries. In India as well as in Asian countries, women were given little bit of freedom. I never say that in India or in Eastern countries, there is no female suppression. There is female suppression, but there are certain historical facts that women were also powerful. Like we have Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, then other important mythological and historical figures which exhibited female power. There are examples, but in Western countries, there was too much of suppression. They have suffered a lot. Women were not at all understood as or identified as equivalent human beings. So first, let us see all these important figures, how they, how they have shown or how they have picturized women. Aristotle, the great Greek philosopher, believed that women are subordinate to men. You never believe. But Aristotle, the great philosopher, strongly believed that women are subordinate to men, assistants to men. Men are superior. He felt that men are superior. There is a quotation also. The female is a female. The female is a female by virtue, by fact, by truth. Because they lack certain lack of qualities, because they don't have equivalent qualities with men, they are called as female. This is the notion of our great philosopher Aristotle. See, the female is a female by virtue, by truth. of a certain lack of qualities. Because they lack certain qualities, they are not equivalent to men. Men are superior, they are inferior. Next, Thomas Aquinas. Thomas Aquinas is also a philosopher. He said that women is a deformed man or imperfect man. Ayyo. He said women is a, what is the definition of women? Women is a deformed man or imperfect man is called as women. This is his concept. What about John Donne and Ben Jonson? John Donne is a metaphysical poet, father of metaphysics. Then Ben Jonson, of a great dramatist after Shakespeare. These both, they have also said, and many others have presented women in a negative light or manner in their works. John Donne, in many
Madam?
of his poems, yes.
Are they all in negative thoughts, ma'am?
Obviously, they are presenting always women. See, I'm talking about people of 11th or 12th or even more, of back centuries, ancient centuries. I'm giving you the notion how women is presented in their works. What is women? Women were considered only as an object of subjugation, object of suppression. See, without historical sense or without any historical concept, we cannot simply jump into the main work. Even in your book, there is a lot of background given in your material also. They all these writers or philosophers, they have presented women as only an object to be utilized.
Okay, ma'am.
Inferior, okay, or inferior, to be taken care, just like a material of a house or a thing of a house. You will take care of it, right? Suppose you have a washing machine in your house. You will take care of it. Once in a while, you will clean it. Otherwise, do you have any connections with it? Do you have any feelings or emotions related to that particular machine? Just like that, women was also considered in those days. Women were not given equal position even at house or even in society. Okay. See, John Donne and Ben Jonson. John Donne in his poems always presented women as a sex object, to be frank. About their beauty, about their delicacy, delicate or very sensitive kind of body, or weak. Sometimes they are considered as weak. Biologically, they are weak, like that. Okay. Now, Ben Jonson also, in one of his famous works, Walpurgi. Walpurgi is, of course, it is a comedy. It is a drama. Ben Jonson's Walpurgi. He has used a man to become like a woman. He will disguise himself as a woman only to suffer somebody. What is that notion? Women are supposed to suffer men. Women are only on this earth to suffer men. Like that, he has presented in that drama called Walpurgi. A man will disguise himself as a woman only to suffer another man. See, this concept, it is not for help or they are equivalent. What kind of notion is this? Means the perspective towards women itself is something different. Generally, if we will talk in a colloquial language, I don't know how many of you will feel like this. I will put this sentence in Telugu. అసలు వాళ్ళ మైండ్ లో అంటే ఆ వైరింగ్ లోనే తేడా ఉందన్నమాట. వైరింగ్ మైండ్ లో వైరింగ్ ఉంటుంది కదా, అది కూడా తేడాగానే ఉంది. అంటే విమెన్ మీన్స్ ఓన్లీ టు సఫర్ మెన్. Ben Jonson, in one of his works, as I'm giving you the exact example, Walpurgi. In Walpurgi, one man, he disguises himself. Epicene, not Walpurgi. Epicene in Silent Women. The Silent Women. If you want to check, you can check in Wikipedia also. Ben Jonson's Epicene, Epicone, Epicene, or the Silent Women. The Silent Women, in that particular drama, you will see a man disguises himself as a woman only to suffer another man. So what is this object? Ben Jonson, John Donne, they have presented women in a negative light or manner, not in a positive light. Then Dr. Johnson, one who has compiled that complete dictionary, right? He's a lexicographer, Dr. Johnson, Samuel Johnson. In his dictionary, feminine. In his dictionary, he has presented the word feminine as what? As feminine. If you will check Johnson's dictionary, you will find this. What is this? Of the sex that bring young, female, soft, tender, delicate, belonging to women. Feminine means what? Of the sex which belongs to, which will bring the notion of women ante avaru ante ila. Female, young, female, soft, tender, delicate. All these words are belonging to what? Women. Very sensitive. Okay, sensitive is also okay. But what about suppression? That is Johnson's view. Then Friedrich Nietzsche, German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, who is a very liberated thinker of Germany. He also said like this, quite surprising. What is this? Women is a source of all folly. Oh my God. All faults. Tappule. Anni tappule chestar aadavallu. Women is a source of all folly and unreason. She is the siren figure. Women is a siren figure who lures the male, who attracts the male, who seduces the male philosopher out of his appointed truth-seeking path. Papum philosopher at a appointed truth-seeking path. But she disturbs him. Have you understood? Say Friedrich Nietzsche, I don't know how many of you have understood. Friedrich Nietzsche, who is a very liberated thinker, he said about women as she is a source of all folly and unreason. Very stupid statement. The siren figure, she is a siren figure who lures the male philosopher, who lures the male seeker, the truth seeker, truth follower, who disturbs him, who seduces him. This is Friedrich Nietzsche's idea. This is totally a Western phenomenon. Okay, shall I move? Next, what are the historical perceptions of patriarchy? Now we will talk about patriarchy, historical perceptions of patriarchy. Women, for so many years, they have accepted patriarchy. For so many centuries, they have accepted, they have agreed, they have continued to have that suppression. They have simply, blindly, they have followed that suppression. Women are not rational, they are not logical, they are illogical, they are very sensitive, they don't have their brains, or in that brain nothing exists. They are not capable of rational education. Rational education. They should be given only domestic education like housekeeping, cooking, sewing, embroidery, etc. This is perception, historical perception of patriarchy, means male-dominated society. Male-dominated society always thought that, it always have a perception that women are not rational. They are not capable of rational education like men, or university education, scientific education. They should be given only domestic education of what? Of work. Which kind of work? Housekeeping, cooking, sewing, embroidery, that's kind of sensitive. I mean, household, which is related to house. That kind of work is good enough for women. Women need to have no opportunities. Patriarchy, what is historical perception of male-dominated society? Women need to have no opportunity for self-fulfillment. They doesn't have a self. They don't have a self. There is no need of opportunity given to them. They were relegated to the margins. Did you understand the word margin? Margin means, for example, let us take a paper or a book. Every book If it is a ruled book, you will have a margin which is separated, margin where you will have separate or special kind of thing. You will put question, answer, number 1, number 2. If it is a correction, you will give marks in that margin. What is this margin means? Which is separated from the mainstream or main page. Mainstream is male dominated society. In this mainstream, female are separated, women are marginalized. Did you understand margin? Why I have used that word margin? Marginalized means separated, given a separate place or separate kind of designation or view. They are relegated to the margins. Pakkana pettesaru. Women should be relegated to the domestic sphere. They are limited. As I told you, a room which is limited, no ventilation, no door. They are surrounded. Domestic sphere, only their domain. Domain is domestic sphere. Means very limited kind of world. Their world is limited. Their world is completely surrounded by these male figures. Domestic sphere involving child care. What is this domestic sphere means? Domestic sphere means involving child care, washing, sewing, singing, cooking, etc. Have included all these, okay? Conforming to social frameworks of femininity makes women socially acceptable and desirable to men. This is also one qualification. If I will say this word, you will understand easy. What is eligibility and qualification? Are you eligible? Renuka or anybody, any one of you, are you eligible to write NET or SET or TGT? Yes, ma'am, I'm eligible. How will you say that eligible word? Eligible means if your certificates, if your performance is accepted by the board. Like that, if women follow all these, child care, washing, sewing, singing, etc., conforming to social framework. This social framework is also decided by patriarchy. Conforming to social frameworks of femininity makes a woman this. If you are under social framework, if you are meeting that criteria, then women will be socially acceptable. You will be accepted by society as a good woman. You will be called as a very good girl, very good woman. And then you will be desirable to men. Appude mimmalni magavallu accept chestar. Desirable. Otherwise, men will not accept you. Your life is finished. You will be acceptable, socially acceptable, and you will be desirable to men. Men will come and show their abhayahastamu. Otherwise, no. Clear? Is that clear? Did you understand now?
Yes, ma'am.
This is historical perception. Otherwise, you will be separated. Nobody will take care of you. You will become an orphan. Men will not come and support you if you are little bit different. If you will question these things, I will not do sewing. I will not sing. I will not cook. I will not wash. I will not take care of my children. If you will do like that, you are not socially acceptable. You are not desirable by your men. You will be called as abnormal. You will be called as rash. You will be called as lunatic.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Next. Here we have more surprising things. Handbooks for female acculturation. There were in olden days, in those centuries, you will be having books also. Books. Specially designed books. Specially designed syllabus. For what? Female acculturation. Women will be educated. Women will learn culture. Of what? To teach women acculturation, manners, social manners. Acculturation means what? Social manners or social habits, how to present yourself in front of the society. Guidelines or guidebooks. There were guidebooks available for women, to teach women social manners. There were many books in the 19th century, like The Daughters of England. There was one book called The Daughters of England. In that book, there is their position. It is included their position in society, who are daughters of England, their position in society, about their characters and responsibilities. This was written by Sarah Stickney Ellis in 1842. Surprisingly, there were books available which teach women social manners. The Wives of England. Who are wives of England? Their relative duties, domestic influence, what are their social obligations. In 1843 by Sarah Stickney Ellis. The Women of England. Yes.
Madam, Sarah Stickney is women or men?
No, women. Same. Very good question. She is a woman. She has written about women.
Oh, it is ironic.
Yes, ironic. Why? Moreover, as I mentioned earlier, in those days, women have accepted that subjugation. They were okay. They were okay with that subjugation and suppression. They have accepted for many centuries. And they wanted to live happily in that domain. They were, for example, anyways, I have to mention that point. Jane Austen's novels, if you will read all those novels, around 6 to 7 novels she has written. In all those novels, women were designed, or women were presented as very sensitive, or they were always dreaming about getting settled into life under secured hands of a man, under secured hands of a family, good family. That man should be rich. That man should do a beautiful job. He should have a social status, and without much effort, they should marry that man. That's it. Life is settled. They were not thirsty about their own individuality. They were not struggling to establish their own individuality. Women were only dreaming about a beautiful man, fantasy kind of world. They were always living, they were always dreaming. All the female protagonists in Jane Austen's drama, you will find they are dreaming about a beautiful life under man and their subjugation. They have accepted subjugation. That is what I am telling. They wanted to follow all these books. They used to read all these books and get desirable for those men. Means a boy coming on a horse, taking their hand, the girl will be dependent on that man easily, blindly. They will believe in them. That kind of living, that kind of life they used to accept. They used to dream about. Clear? Is that clear? Many years, many centuries, they have accepted this kind of life. Mrs. Beeton's book of household management was also published in 1961. Mrs. Beeton's book. What is this book? Book of Household Management was also there in 1961. Okay, then see. Victorian dress reform movement. In those days, women were not, women's dress was like this. A big loop, a big hoop is there under this frock. Victorian women. Before Victorian era, women's dress will be like, they are very tight, not giving them free movement also. They cannot get into carriages easily. They cannot go out of the house with this kind of a dress. This dress is very trendy nowadays, but in those days, this dress was not giving them any kind of comfort. See, it is very tight at their shoulders, at their chest, and then at their, waistline. Okay, waistline. Then it is covered with a round hoop. They cannot get out of the house easily. This is for to make them stick to their houses. And then there was a reform movement here, reformed. It is reformed. They can get into they can ride their bicycle. They can be free. They can go out on their own work. So there was Victorian dress reform movement in 1851. Then I'm not going into all the details, otherwise we will get delayed with our major work. There was women's suffrage, this spelling. What is this suffrage? Suffrage actually, the word means right to vote. Right to vote in political elections. This is Seneca Falls Convention. Seneca Falls Convention, where they have won the petition. Women won the petition for the right to vote in the political elections. This happened in America. Means in Europe as well as in America, simultaneously there was feminism. There was feminist movement. Excuse me. Clear is this? This is Seneca Falls Convention, and in this particular time, women were victorious, and they got votes for women politically. As I mentioned here, first they want to attain social, political, and economic equality. One after the other, they were slowly achieving. Clear? This is political freedom. Now, after gaining political freedom, there were divisions within feminism. There is French feminism, majorly French feminism, and then Anglo-American feminism. This is also important. What is French feminism? French feminism was mostly influenced by post-structuralism and psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis means of Sigmund Freud and Jean-Jacques Lacan. First Freud's, then second Lacan's. Of course, there is Carl Jung also. Carl Jung comes later. Okay, but Sigmund Freud and Lacan's psychoanalysis was having a great influence on French feminism. It was influenced by post-structuralism and psychoanalysis, then anti-essentialism and constructionism also. These two are also important theories. Then French feminism generally focused on language, female vocabulary, female ideas, language, then representation, female psychology, and not the text. They are not connected with the text. Major figures are Julia Kristeva, Helen Sixes, and Luz Irigaray. Then Anglo-American feminism. Anglo means English, American feminism. Means England, related to England and America. Anglo-American feminism, it is liberal humanist. It is focusing on liberalism, that is upheld traditional concepts like theme, characterization, realism, literature as representation. Their view is different. Their view is completely related to text. It is not related to text, it is related to text. Like theme, characterization, realism, literature, etc. as representation. They looked at more traditional ideas related to text. These two are quite opposite. French feminism focused on language, but not on text, whereas Anglo-American feminism mostly looked at text. Major figures are Elaine Shawwalter, our author, Sandra Gilbert, Susan Guber, etc. Okay, is it clear? Next. Let us talk about our background now, related to our background. Feminism, as I told you, as I have mentioned all these slides, feminism, it lacks theoretical background. It was not having any theoretical background because the perception itself is different. Historical perception is completely different. Perception is about what? Domestic education, no opportunities for self-fulfillment. They have to relegate themselves, marginalize themselves to domestic sphere. There is no theoretical background at all. అసలు మనకి హిస్టరీయే లేదు. There is no historical sense. There is nothing to develop. There is no basic at least. So feminism doesn't have any theoretical background. From where it has to start? It has to start everything with the A, or it should start from the first point itself. There is no theoretical background or a historical past of its own. There is no historical past. What is historical past for feminism? Patriarchy or male-dominated society. We were under somebody. We were always enclosed. So where to begin? Where to start? Everything, confusion, lack of theoretical background. There is no basis at all. For example, I will give you a big problem, mathematics problem, without any textbook, without any reference. I will give you some big equation and I will ask you to solve. Where will you begin? Will you have any idea about how to do any formula or any kind of theory? I will never say anything, and I will say to solve the problem. Will you able to solve like that? Feminism doesn't have any theoretical background or historical past. The past is completely under male subjugation. Is considered to be very recent perspective employed in the interpretation of literary text. To interpret a literary text, there is no theoretical background. There is no reference where to check or where to refer, how to take a textbook and refer. Where shall I find the formula to solve this problem? There is nothing. So, hence, the feminist critics undertook the task of demonstrating this unfair practice. There is a lot of unfair practice, injustice happened in the male literature, and advocated that there is a need, there is a proper need to subvert, to check with, to question with these practices in order to restore the honor and prestige, restore the honor and prestige. I have given you the statements of all these writers who didn't honor women. There is no prestige point here. They are completely called as imperfect or subordinate or inferior. So they wanted to restore the honor and prestige due to women in society, which is due, which is balance, which is still it has to be paid, pending to women in society and women characters in literature. Once again, I'll go back so that it will get fixed in your mind. John Donne and Ben Jonson, they have presented women in a negative light. So they want to do what? Get honor and prestige for women characters in literature. They don't want that negative shade anymore, with the ultimate objective of achieving women's equality with men. I will highlight this. Equality with men or man, okay? The contribution of several women thinkers. I'm not giving you all the names here. I cannot, because we are restrained with time. We have very less time and we have to cover so many other topics also. I can give you so many examples about women thinkers like Mary Wollstonecraft, then Virginia Woolf, then Julia Kristeva, Kate Millett, like that. There are many writers. Then creative writers and critics has been very, very valuable. Among these, the contribution of our author, Elaine Shawwalter, an American feminist. She belongs to Anglo-American group. She belongs to this group, okay? Anglo-American feminism. Among these contributions, numerous contributions, yes?
These feminist critics are, they are men or women, ma'am?
All feminist critics are all women.
Women, okay.
Of course, there is J.S.
In the
Mill
first
also.
year we have learned.
What did you learn?
I don't remember his name, but one of the male writer is feminist.
Yes, he's J.S. Mill. I was about to tell. J.S. Mill, who supported female liberation. Did you study any drama or any literary kind of work? There were creative writers who supported, who encouraged female liberation also, women emancipation also, like J.S. Mill. Okay?
But could you mention Indian feminist, ma'am?
Indian feminist. Of what? Like we have poets, we have Toru Dutt and Sarojini Naidu. They are not feminists, but they have supported female emancipation.
Okay.
There are poems written by Toru Dutt where she points out unnecessary suppression of women. Like in her poem Sita, how female is suppressed. Then we have Sarojini Naidu in Parda Nashin poem. These are all of feminist point of view. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Then, so in her essay Towards a Feminist Poetics, this essay, the essay Towards a Feminist Poetics, belongs to this category. Belongs to which category here? About American feminist, female emancipation. Okay, next. Elaine Shawwalter, born in the year 1941, presently she is 80 years. The essay Towards a Feminist Poetics was published in this book, The New Feminist Criticism. It is an essay towards a feminist criticism. Feminist Poetics is an essay which was published in The New Feminist Criticism, along with other writers also, along with, say, Rosalind Coward, Sandra Gilbert, Susan Guber, Caroline Hilburn, Annette Colandi, and these are other writers. Now, she is Elaine Shawwalter. She is American literary critic and teacher. She worked as a professor in a university and founder of Gynocritics. Most important. And she is the founder of Gynocritics. She is the person who first coined the term as Gynocritics. Okay. Now, what is Gynocritics? Gynocritics is a school of feminist criticism. It is a school of feminist criticism, especially feminist criticism concerned with women as writer. Women as writer, with the history, themes, genres, and structures of literature by women. All by women. Everything related to women. Women as writer, with the history of women, with the thematic concerns of women, with the genres related to women, with the structures of literature by women. This is all about gynocritics. Gyno means generally we have gynecologist, which is related to female womb. Okay, that it is a word related to our female body. Gynocritics means which is completely, specially related to female women. Okay. After her studies, Elaine joined the faculty of Douglas College, the women's division of Rutgers University in America in 1969, where she developed women's studies courses. She is the founder. She developed women's studies courses, all women's studies, and began editing and contributing articles to books and periodicals about women's literature, all related to women. She is best known in academic and popular culture fields also. She is a recipient of Truman Capote Award for literary criticism in America. Okay. This is a short biography of Elaine Shawwalter. Now, Elaine Shawwalter, as I mentioned, Anglo-American feminist and founder of Gynocritics. What is Gynocritics? Gynocritics means women. Gyno means related to women, and critics means as writers. Gynocritics means women as writers. This is mentioned even in your book, in your material. Gynocritics means women as writers. Then, a literature of their own. This is her first book, published book. This is actually, it was said that Elaine Shawwalter's PhD thesis. This is her dissertation, PhD thesis. She presented this thesis when she was a scholar. A literature of their own. Their means all women. About what? British women novelists from Charlotte Bronte to Doris Lessing. Charlotte Bronte, beginning with Charlotte Bronte to Doris Lessing in the year 1977. She has done a big research on a literature of their own, and all their means here all British women novelists. Who are these British women novelists? Beginning from Charlotte Bronte to Doris Lessing. Then Towards a Feminist Poetics, this is our essay, Towards a Feminist Poetics, which was published in the year 1979. Feminine, feminist, and female. We will talk about feminine, feminist, and female in detail. Okay. Then the female malady. This malady, problem, female suffering. What is opposite for malady? Opposite to malady, remedy. Opposite to malady is remedy. Remedy means solution. Malady means problem. Okay. The female malady. Women, madness, and English culture. Women, their madness, and English culture of 1830 to 1980. This was published in the year 1985. Then Sexual Anarchy, Gender and Culture at the Fin de Siècle. This is a French term. Okay. Then Histories. This is a correct spelling. Don't get confused. Histories, hysterical epidemics. This is psychoanalytical. Histories is psychoanalytical. Hysterical epidemics and modern media. Inventing herself, claiming a feminist intellectual heritage. Claiming a intellectual heritage. This is in 2001. Okay. Now, let us begin our essay. Towards a Feminist Poetics. Towards. We are moving towards our own laws and principles. Feminist laws and principles towards a feminist poetics. Elaine Shawwalter. This is Elaine Shawwalter's 1979 article, and it is considered as a landmark in the history of feminist literary criticism. Very, very important work, important essay for feminist literary criticism. It became like a Veda. It became like a big asset for feminist literary criticism. The essay can be studied analytically as consisting of 4 parts. We can analyze the essay by dividing it into 4 parts for our comfort study sake. We can divide it into comfortably women as a reader, women as a writer. What are the 3 phases of feminist criticism? As I mentioned here, see, feminine, feminist, and female. These are the 3 important phases of feminist criticism. Then what are the problems and prospects, problems and solutions? What are the problems and further study? Clear? Women as reader. Women as a reader means as feminist critique. It is critique. Please understand. See, critics. It is critics. C-R-I-T-I-C-S. C-S means it is one spelling and it is another spelling. So critics, C-R-I-T-I-C-S means one who is writing, one who is working, means author. Here critique means the work, the essay, the idea which is presented. Clear? Did you get this difference? Spelling is different, but the pronunciation is same. So there will be a confusion for the people who are very new to this subject, literature or MA English. Critic, C-R-I-T-I-C, is the person, the human being, one who is working. Critique, C-R-I-T-I-Q-U-E, means the essay or the product which they have produced. అట్లా రాసుకోండి, మీకు వీలుగా ఎలా అర్థమైతే అలా రాసుకోండి. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్, దిస్ ఇస్ ఫెమినిస్ట్ క్రిటిక్, మీన్స్ దేర్ వర్క్. దెన్ విమెన్ యాజ్ రైటర్, దే ఆర్ gynocritics. They are writers, right? They are producing, they are critics. 3 phases of feminist criticism, problems and prospects. Now, first, let us consider women as a reader. Who is a reader? Or women as reader. Shall I continue? Or do you want a break? Or do you want me to check with your doubts or anything?
Just
Continue, madam.
Continue.
Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you. So, first, women as critic or women as reader. As readers, they are consumers. అసలు ఎలాంటి వర్డ్ యూజ్ చేశారో చూడండి, కన్స్యూమర్స్ మీన్స్ దే విల్ ఓన్లీ టేక్ ఇన్ టు వితౌట్ ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్. we will consume our food, we will consume knowledge from books without any question, without any second option. We don't have any other option left with. They are consumers of what? Consumers of male produced literature. We will simply consume. We will read books. We will read books of male authors. Consume even what? They will study male produced literature with images and stereotypes, where women are, in male produced literatures, women are, exhibited or exposed as mere images and stereotypes. Is it clear? What is meant by stereotype? Stereotype means just like flat characters, subjugated characters. One who is a housewife, one who don't have any kind of voice. They cannot claim their right. Like that kind of characters they have seen all these centuries. There were omissions and misconceptions about women. Women are omitted. Omitted means marginalized, or sometimes they were having no character at all, no role at all. Even nowadays in our movies, generally heroines doesn't have a major role. They are omitted simply for dancing, for making them look beautiful, making them to wear beautiful dresses. That's it. There will be no major role or important place for these heroines. And misconceptions about women, like they are only designed for disturbing the hero. Hero is actually doing a big task. Meanwhile, the heroine will disturb him. She will come in between. She will create a lot of fuss around him. This is misconception. Fissures in male constructed literary history. What is meant by fissures? Fissures means gaps. Because of women, there are gaps in male constructed literary history. There is no continuity. There is gap even in male constructed literary history. For example, I will read here. On the contrary, gynocritics in such a phase of feminist criticism in which women this is gynocritic. The feminist critic, as a sort of feminist criticism, envisions the women as the readers. We are studying women as reader of those male produced texts, male authored texts. The feminists thus try to trace out the images and stereotypes of the women exposed in the male texts. This is also called as traditional feminist criticism. This is called as traditional feminist criticism, where women are silent consumers of production in literary writing. They are considered as silent consumers. They will find out how women are exploited, how women are manipulated of the female audience. Who are the female audience? These women as readers, they are exploited and manipulated in the movies or in the novels. Okay, like for example, I will give you one example. Don't get me wrong. We have one movie. Let us take one movie. Mother, she was in love with somebody and she becomes pregnant. She is helpless. That person will not marry her. After some time, our hero is born. He was insulted. He was called as a bastard son. Then our hero will become an angry young man. He will take revenge. He wants to take revenge. He will get back his father. Then a woman is given sindoor once again. She will called as a widow all these years. That man, our hero, will come, bring back his father, bring back the reputation, bring back all happiness. What is this? Women as a weak or person who is manipulated always, flexible to get manipulated always, and once again become a source or motivation for a man to bring back all those lost or forbidden rights. Is it not a filmy story, filmy condition where hero is suffered, insulted because of mother? One man has taken advantage of this woman. Another man is also getting motivated by this woman. She becomes a source of insult. She becomes a source of manipulation, exploitation. What is this? And we have accepted all these years. This is male-dominated story, patriarchal kind of a story. Why don't these women take revenge? Why her son has to take revenge? Clear? Is my question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is my question right to the context? I'm checking for your messages also. Will you agree? Women as a reader, how they are exploited, manipulated, accepted all these years, taken for granted. We can say that women were taken for granted. Clear? Then next we will move on to women as a writer, means gynocriticism. What happened later, after so much of exploitation and manipulation, we have changed women as a writer. Let us see how women is trying to write. At least now literature should change. From male literature, let us enter into female literature. Female literature which is produced by female. Women as writer, producer of a textual meaning. Women will become a producer. Women will become a producer of what? Different kind of textual meaning. Here at least she should start changing the perception of patriarchal society. Women as a writer will focus on female subjectivity, female language, and female literary career. Everything is connected to female. Female vocabulary, female literary career, female subjectivity, means female as a subject, and how she should be presented in the works. How she should be presented in the works. That is female as a producer. Gynocriticism. Women as a writer to construct a female framework. Now the framework is also changed. It is not surrounded by father, brother, husband and son. Female framework is also changed. It is getting reconstructed for the analysis of women's literature. Women's literature is completely now changing. Women as a writer, women are placed at the center of inquiry. They are not marginalized. Now they came into the center of the page, center of the context, center of the subject. They are not remaining as marginalized. Page lo pakkan pettamannan chusara adi kaadu. They are in the center of the page or subject or topic. Center of inquiry. Work. Women as a writer, they work both inside and outside the male tradition or patriarchy. They will work. They want to change completely from inside and outside the male tradition. Now we will talk about women's writing phases. What are these writing phases? Elaine Shawwalter, she has described about 3 writing phases. Because did you understand women as a writer?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, even as a writer, there is one system. What is the system? That writing system is divided into 3 phases. 3 phases, 3 steps. The first one is feminist. Feminist, it is from 1840 to 1880. This is in your textbook also. Feminist is 1840 to 1880. It lasted for 40 years. In those, as a writer, feminist writer, they have imitated male tradition or male norms. They have only imitated. They have only copied male writing methods, male tradition of writing. Means imitation. This only these 40 years they have imitated men writers, men authors. Example: Elizabeth Gaskell and George Eliot. Here there is a lot of discussion in your textbook about George Eliot. For example, George Eliot is a famous novelist of 18th century. We have Mill on the Floss, Adam Bede, Romola. These are all different novels. Famous novels by George Eliot. George Eliot. It looks like a male author, male name, man's name, George Eliot. But to be true, to be frank, George Eliot is Mary Ann Evans. Mary Ann Evans. She is a female writer. What is the need or why she has changed her name? Why she has used a pseudonym? Pen name is different. Pen name is George Eliot. Because she felt that if it is a male name, publishers will publish her novels without much fuss, without much questioning, without much manipulation or exploitation. In those days, publishers, they never believed in female writers. They never used it to publish their works. That is the reason Mary Ann Evans, she has changed her name into George Eliot. George Eliot appears to be a man's name, a male name, and they have published her works. Later, after so much of interrogation, she came to be known as Mary Ann Evans.
Second, what's the real name?
What her real name is? Mary, M-A-R-Y, Mary, Ann, A-N-N, Evans, E-A-V-A-N-S, E-V-A-N-S, Mary Ann Evans. See, if you have this particular, subject all in your textbook also, means in your material, you will find. Okay. Don't worry, please. I'm not saying that I will not give you meanings or spellings also. I will give, but I'm giving you assurance that you are not missing any of these points. Whatever is there in your textbook, I am giving you in the PPT, just like a hint. Okay. Okay. And definitely after completion of my class, I will give you the PDF. I will make the PDF of this material and I will put that PDF in that group, in your group. I have joined that Telegram group. Definitely I will upload. Okay.
Thank you.
By afternoon after 2 o'clock or 2:30, by that time I will make a PDF of this PPT and I will upload in that. Please check. Okay. Whenever you want to refer, you can refer. Okay. Now, feminist, we are talking about feminist period or feminist phase. In this feminist phase, writers like Elizabeth Gaskell and George Eliot, they have imitated their male contemporaries, male novelists. Okay, even in the subject, there were no female protagonists. There were only male protagonists. Male were dominating. It means heroes were dominating women, and women were having fantasy, or they were dreamy like heroines. They were not risk. Please mute yourself. Anyone of you, please mute. Okay. They were not risk-taking heroines. They were all sensitive, delicate, only aiming to get married. Marriage is very important for heroines of 18th century. Marriage was like a dream. Marriage was like a turning point of their life. Moreover, they were not dreaming for a normal or middle-class hero, middle-class husband. They were always, dreaming for expecting a rich hero, so that their life will be comfortable, their life will be under the help of support of this hero. Okay, husband, getting married and having a good husband is very important for those heroines of those times. That is feminist phase. Next, second, we will talk about feminine phase. What is this feminine? Feminine is very, very radical and separatist. It is radical and separatist, angry. Angry means protest. Feminine writers, feminine phase writers is from 1880 to 1920, another 40 years, 1880 to 1920. They were all radical. This phase covers the duration of 40 years. In this phase, including writers like Elizabethan, writers like Robbins, Francis Trollope, and others. The women writers of this phase were protesting. They were against. They were radicals. They were considered as radicals and separatists. Means they used to question. They were ready to fight. They were ready to rebel against these male dominating or patriarchal kind of rule or patriarchal kind of idea. Okay, they were protesting against what? Protesting against male canons and values. CANONS, male canons. Canons means models. Male models, male tradition and values. They were against. They were opposite. They were questioning. They became very rebellious, angry. They were protesting, means their nature completely changed in this second phase of writing. Example, Elizabeth Robbins, Olive Schreiner, etc. They rejected any text. They were opposing, seriously opposing any text that stereotyped women. Stereotyped means once again showing a stereotyped woman who is delicate, who is ready to get suppressed. I don't know how you students will think. If I'll give you examples of our movies, Telugu movies, many of our Telugu movies, they show women as subjugated, always getting suppressed by male dominated people. They were not given a right to study. Even in our movies, many movies, they were picturized even like that. Okay, so feminine phase of that 40 years, they were radicals. They protested. They were not ready to accept any male male book in which female were given as stereotype position or flat characters. They are called as flat characters. Means there will be no development. They will just remain in the textbook as a passive character, without much development or suppressed. They rejected. The feminist phase writers, they rejected any text which stereotyped the women. They developed a personal sense of injustice and wrote biases of male. They always pointed out male. They were in a notion to point out male authors. They are angry and against patriarchy. And their works exhibited that anger and their rebellious nature against patriarchy. Example, Elizabeth Robbins, Olive Schreiner, etc. Clear? Now, we will move to the third phase. Now, what is third phase? It is female phase. Completely, it is female phase, 1920 onwards. Now, it is continuing. Female phase is continuing. It is from 1920 onwards. This female phase focuses on female writing. Focuses on female writing. This is very important. Female writing and experience. Female experience is also completely different from male experience. These two experiences are also very different. Why they are different? Male perspective, male situation is different. Female experience, female situation is different. It is focusing on female phase is focusing on self-discovery. We can say that it is self-discovery. In one of my slides, I mentioned here, they don't have self even. It is Western phenomenon where it has gone. See, women need to have no opportunity for self-fulfillment. వాళ్ళకంటూ సొంతంగా ఏమి ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదనుకున్నారు. బట్ నౌ female phase is completely towards what? Female phase is towards self-discovery. Clear? Is it clear now? Have you got the connectivity of all these slides? They are now focusing on what? Self-discovery. They are not now focusing on any kind of fight or imitation. No, they have turned towards their inside. They have turned completely towards their inside. Now they don't want to waste their time in pointing out somebody or imitating somebody. Completely, now they have changed their domain. They are now restricted only that they want to reconstruct their domain in which only they themselves they are trying to have self-discovery. They have turned towards themselves. They stopped ma'am, please tell feminine. Yes, I will repeat, don't worry. Whoever asked, I will repeat feminine also. Now, female, they have started now. They felt, female phase, they felt that they have wasted a lot of time in imitation. They have wasted a lot of time in protesting. But instead of wasting their time, they want to establish themselves now. They want to turn towards themselves, towards their own production, towards their own establishment. For example, we have Rebecca West, Catherine Mansfield, Dorothy Richardson. These are all writers who focused on female phase. Now, completely they have changed. They came out of that complete disturbance of imitation of male writers, disturbance of protesting. This is all unnecessary time waste to protest somebody, right? Means this female phase is more matured phase where they want to dedicate their time only for themselves, not for identifying problems with somebody or imitating somebody or what is happening around the world, outside the world. They don't want to check with. They have now they are only focusing on their own development, self-discovery. Okay, like they purely develop the idea of female writing. Here in this phase, female phase, they purely develop the idea of female writing and female experience. They want to separate even their female experience. They want to differentiate female writing and male writing in terms of language also. Language, they want to differentiate female writing and male writing. Male writing is different. Male perspective is different. They will use male vocabulary, different vocabulary to describe or to develop that male experience. They will use male vocabulary, whereas female experience is different. So they need female experience, female vocabulary separately. See, after this essay, Elaine Shawwalter has produced another essay also. What is that another essay? Of course, this is not important for you, but I'm trying to give you the connectivity. So, feminist criticism in wilderness. Another important essay after this. After this essay, there is feminist criticism in wilderness. Wilderness means completely different. Completely, it has changed its form. It became wilder. And here in that essay, she has more details about gynocriticism. She has divided gynocriticism into 4 different criticisms, which is related to their body, which is related to their language, which is related to their psychology, which is related to their culture. Okay, like that. Yes, Rakshita, please mute. I don't know who Rakshita is. Please mute. Okay, so in feminist criticism in wilderness, that essay, even Elaine Shawwalter has developed this idea of gynocriticism into a very vast perspective, vast idea. She has divided gynocriticism into 4 phases. First, as women's language, women's body, then as women's language, then women's psychology, and then women's culture. Like that, she has divided gynocriticism, which is a next step for this female phase. Next step, or another step for female phase, where self-discovery is more easy, self-discovery is more clear. Okay, did you understand? So they differentiate in female phase, writers, they differentiate female writing with male writing in terms of language, in terms of their experience, in terms of their cultural perspective. Means female phase is now focused completely, strictly focused on establishment of separate female criticism, feminist criticism. Now there will be no scope for male criticism of female writings, male judgment of female writings. Clear? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Now, the fourth important section is what about problems and prospects? There are still problems prevailing. Elaine Shawwalter, then after writing phases, after these, somebody asked me to repeat feminine. Whoever it is, please listen. Feminine phase is the second phase, which is very radical and separatist, radical and revolutionary. Radical means they are angry. They are not able to tolerate anymore this stereotype kind of characters in the works of male writers. If a male writer has shown a female character as a stereotype character, they will not tolerate it. They will rebel. They will question. That kind of phase is feminine kind. First phase is imitation. Cool. They are very cool. They will only imitate because they don't have any historical background or theoretical background. There is no option left with them. So they tried to imitate. That's it. Their male models or male canons. That's it. Then in feminine phase, that is completely opposite. They turned rebellious. They turned angry. Now female phase is now completely balanced, very like they are meditating. You please imagine. First one is feminist. It is cool. They will only imitate. Feminist is very radical. They are very angry. Feminine. And female is like they are now calm down. They are doing some yoga. They are doing meditation like things. Like that you remember, you put in your mind, then there will be no mistake, there will be no confusion even while you are writing in your exams. First is feminist, imitation, copying. Second is feminine, angry, they are radical. Third one is female, which is very calm. Around there is greenery. They are sitting alone. They are doing meditation like thing. Like that, if you will put in your mind, you will remember. You will not have any confusion. There will be no scope for any confusion. Okay? Now, we will talk about problems and prospects. Problems and prospects. What are the problems in front of Elaine Shawwalter? Even this feminist poetics is not sufficient. It is not enough to solve all the problems. Even there are problems. Elaine Shawwalter discusses the problems encountered, faced by gynocritics or gynocriticism that corresponds to the female phase. Means the third phase. As I told you, Elaine Shawwalter is supporting. She is broad about gynocriticism. She wants to support women as a writer. Even as women as a writer, she is supporting female phase. But this female phase also has certain problems. What is that problem? The first problem is that of terminology, which is already made by males. There is no separate female terminology by that time. Presently there is now, even in 21st century, we have female terminology. We are having female vocabulary, female terminology. It's a girly thing. Hey, what do you know about that? It is a girly thing. Girly thing means completely related to female. For example, I'll give you one day-to-day example. In our Eenadu newspaper, many of you are habituated to read a newspaper. Eenadu newspaper, there is a separate column, Vasundhara. Vasundhara is what? Female terminology, specially made for female. Men, generally, they won't read that paper or that particular edition. That particular column is separate. It is made separately for female readers, where you will have an article, where you will have female tips to take care of yourself, of your skin, of your bags, or you can they will give tips for child care, yoga for female body, gold, even bullion market, rates, that will attract female, right? Bullion market means gold, ekkada gold ela undi, ఏ ఊళ్ళల్లో ఎలా రేట్లు ఉన్నాయి, అవన్నీ కూడా అదే కాలం, అదే పేపర్ లో వేస్తారు చూడండి, అదే ఎడిషన్ లో వేస్తారు చూడండి. Why this attracts? Because it is female mind, female experience, right?
Yes,
with female terminology, and that newspaper will have, that edition will have all female related issues in that. And men, many 90% men, they will not take care of it. They will read or they will forget. They will not focus much on that paper. Men, they get attracted to politics, then articles, different type of articles, employment, what is happening in some other place. That is all meant for general purpose. But Eenadu newspaper has a separate or a distinguished edition called Vasundhara. Vasundhara is like that terminology. Even, for example, let us go to a shopping mall. In that shopping mall, there is a big West Side or Max or other kind of shops. Even in that, you will have women ethnic wear column, women ethnic, dresses. Ethnic dresses, Western attire, like that. Men are separate, kids is separate. There is distinction, and there will be terminology, sandals, then ethnic wear. Ethnic means completely related to men. Completely related to female. Women's corner. Now we have makeup world also, like all our makeup shop, that Health and Glow. Is it related to men? Health and Glow shop. In any shopping mall, you will have a Health and Glow corner. It is for female. And all those accessories are having terminology, female terminology. Men terminology is different, female terminology is different. Even perfumes, even in our perfumes, we have female perfumes and men perfumes separately made for these genders. Right? Like that. So in the beginning, or when this article was written, there was the first problem: separate terminology. We need separate terminology. Otherwise, we have to depend on male terminology also getting used in our essays. In female essays, suppose I want to write an article, I have to use a male terminology to express my feeling, to express my emotion. So I need a separate terminology, separate vocabulary, which, of course, we have crossed this. Now, many critics, they are trying to have separate terminology for LGBTQ rights. This is another trend. Now, presently in 21st century, we are facing LGBTQ. What is LGBTQ? For lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer studies. This is another stream. See, this is a great problem to understand our own feelings. Otherwise, for example, I will give you one more example. A child, a 2-year-old child. He or she doesn't have a separate vocabulary, only blah, 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 or one word, two word stage. That one word, two word stage is only understood by the close person, mother. That's it. Otherwise, it is a problem for his world. People will not understand his feelings, his or her feelings. అబ్బా అమ్మ ఏం చెప్తుందో నాకేం అర్థం కావట్లేదు. వాట్ ద చైల్డ్ ఈస్ ట్రైంగ్ టు స్పీక్, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. Then we will turn to mother to have interpretation. What is the child telling? What is the child is trying to tell? Please explain. What is that? Because the child doesn't have a separate terminology. It is not his particular age to speak all the words. There is a communication gap. That child suffers because people are not able to understand. If a child gets missed in an exhibition or in a big fair, what is his condition? He is not able to speak properly because he lacks terminology. He lacks vocabulary. He is not able to speak. It is a great problem. Is it clear? Next, we will move to the second problem. Even Elaine Shawwalter in Feminist Criticism in Wilderness essay, she says that gynocriticism is a child. It is still developing. It needs somebody's guidance, motherly kind of help. The second problem is to establish women's experience, which is completely different from male experience. There is no point of any kind of connectivity or similarity in experiences. Women's experiences are different. Male experiences are different. As worthy of attention, you have to attend to women's experience as it is. Don't try to subjugate. Don't try to ignore this women's experience. That is completely different. Women's experience is different. Male experience is different. And it is worthy of attention against the odds of male arrogance. Don't show your arrogance. Male arrogance is not right. With your arrogance, you will ignore female experience. Don't have that male arrogance. And there is so-called rational and objective method of analysis. Please do analysis in a rational and objective method. Don't make it subjective. Be objective. Yesterday, T.S. Eliot also said about objectivity, but not subjectivity. If there is subjectivity, you will become selfish. You will become self-centered. Please have objective perspective. Rational means logical, means sensible and objective method of analysis. Don't make it irrational and subjective method of analysis. These many years, these many centuries, it was irrational and subjective. But please try to understand. Don't approach with a male arrogance. Try to make the analysis rational and objective. This is a plea. This second point is like a request from Elaine Shawwalter to male readers as well, male writers as well. The third problem is the dissatisfaction. Still, Elaine Shawwalter and her followers, they are dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction of the unsuccessful synthesis, unsuccessful mixture. Synthesis means what? Mixture. Unsuccessful mixture of feminism and Marxism, structuralism, deconstruction, and psychoanalysis. Synthesis. Okay, the third problem is the dissatisfaction. Still there is some lapse. Still there is some drawback. Drawback in what? Drawback in unsuccessful mingling, unsuccessful coordination of feminism with what? Feminism with Marxism, structuralism, deconstruction, and psychoanalysis. Actually, feminism is a product, is a result. It came out of Marxism, structuralism, deconstruction, and psychoanalysis theories. Marxism talked about what? Social equality. Structuralism talked about what? Focus on words, focus on the structure of a text, deconstruction, and psychoanalysis. So in psychoanalysis, we understood that female behavior and male behavior is completely different. If female is subjugated, completely suppressed for many centuries together, they will become hysteric. Actually, Sigmund Freud first made his experiment, did his experiment on female hysterical patients to bring out psychoanalysis theory. I don't know how many of you have gone through B.Ed, and in B.Ed there is Freudian analysis, Sigmund Freudian analysis, in which we have learned that Sigmund Freud first did his experiment on female hysterical patients, and from those female hysterical patients, he propounded this theory of psychoanalysis, and he has put everything in Interpretation of Dreams book. So, Elaine Shawwalter says that there is still dissatisfaction, there is still some lapse in answer, because there is this lapse or this dissatisfaction is because there is unsuccessful synthesis. It is not successful meeting or successful mingling with these theories, these famous theories of 20th century, Marxism, structuralism, deconstruction, and psychoanalysis. It is not able to compete with, it is not able to, feminism is not able to compete with or challenge with these other theories, literary theories, which are very famous, and feminism is trying to compete with them, trying to establish as a major theory among these theories. Okay, now last conclusion. Therefore, because of these problems and prospects, therefore she claims, she wants to claim, she is trying to assert that feminist critics should find a new language of their own. Feminist critics, they should focus first on what? A new language, completely a new language that integrates their intelligence, experience, reason, suffering, skepticism, and vision. Integrates means what? It integrates means it is a combination. It is a collection of their own intelligence, means they are rational. In the beginning, it was said that women are irrational. They doesn't have their own mind. There is no need of giving them rational education. Some domestic education is enough for them. Okay, their own intelligence, they should prove that female or women are also eligible, women are also capable of taking rational education, taking up rational studies. Nowadays that is happening. Intelligence, then experience. Their experience is also, it should be recorded. Their experience is also very important to be known by the society. Reason, suffering. Their suffering is not a normal suffering to be hidden. It is, suffering should be expressed. Suffering should be exposed in the kind of books. Skepticism. What is meant by skepticism? Their doubts, their fears. All this should be given a new language. And vision. What is their expectation or towards their visionary kind of role, visionary kind of journey? For that, to express all these, intelligence, experience, reason, suffering, skepticism, and vision, they need a new language. In this respect, they may take help from some impartial ideologies of men. దీనికోసము వాళ్ళు మెన్ పైన డిపెండ్ అవుతారట, ఓన్లీ ఫర్ హెల్ప్, అండ్ దట్ టు హూ ఆర్ సమ్ impartial ideologies. They should not have any partial ideologies. మళ్ళీ partiality ఉండకూడదు. Impartial ideologies of men. Okay, so please let me know if you have any doubts. Last 10 minutes we have to close the session. If you need some more explanation of any slide, I will definitely help you, or any other suggestion. If you want to give any point or any explanation, please let me know. Madam, please can you send me the material from earlier classes, as I was not sent text message and it was sent to me only after consulting the college yesterday. MA, I don't know. See, there are no previous classes which are dealt by me. Only yesterday I started taking classes. So there is nothing you have missed anything. Okay, don't worry. Don't worry, whoever it is. I will send both traditional and individual talent PDF and feminism towards a feminist poetics PDF today by afternoon. Okay, don't worry at all. Next. Yes.
Questions.
Okay. You want me to deal with questions? Okay, sure. I will deal with them. Yes. Please go ahead. Whoever is asking.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm Sweka. Your explanation is wonderful, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let us do some true or false. There are. I like these. Okay, so let us page number 203. Yes. Whoever it is. Yes.
Madam, you fully involved in the topic, madam.
Yes. Thank you. See, without your help, I cannot. Involve myself because you muted yourself. There is no. Any kind of disturbance. Everybody cooperated. Thank you so much.
You could do justice.
Can you explain this misconception?
Misconception. In which slide? Misconception.
17th or 16th?
18th. I think it is 18. Problems and prospects.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In problems and prospects, Elaine Shawwalter, she is discussing the problems which they have encountered as gynocritics, means as writers. First problem is they were not having sufficient terminology or absolute or perfect terminology to express their experience, to express their feelings or emotions. Even to express their feelings or emotions, they have to depend on male terminology or male concepts. Right? So the first problem is they are facing with terminology. Okay. The second problem is to establish women's experience. They have to establish what? Women's experience as worthy of attention. Don't ignore female experience. Don't ignore or just ignore or take off that particular kind of experience as nonsense. Female experience or women's experience are also very, very, worthy of attention against the odds of male arrogance. This lack of attention is only because of male arrogance. If there is no male arrogance, definitely this women's experience, it might have understood centuries ago. The only thing is that male felt all these years, all these centuries, that they are superior. If that superiority and inferiority bias was not there, if they were considered equals, the scene would have completely different. It will be completely different perspective. Women's experience should be given attention. And which kind of attention they need? They need rational and objective kind of attention. It should not be irrational or subjective. It should be rational and objective method of analysis. Then third one is there is dissatisfaction. Elaine Shawwalter is dissatisfied because feminism as a movement of 20th century is unable to compete, is unable to establish itself with Marxism, structuralism, deconstruction and psychoanalysis. Clear? Whoever asked?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you. So let us take true or false in 203 page number 203. You have self-assessment questions. Yes. Somebody is asking.
Ma'am, can we say this feminist as an approach?
Approach towards what?
Approach to the female writers who wanted to write about themselves and to express.
Absolutely correct. You got the exact point. Feminist or this towards a feminist poetics. As I mentioned, poetics definition, it is to establish laws and principles for a separate kind of genre, separate kind of subject. What is the subject? Female experience, female writers. So they want to express their own ideas with a, a strong view or strong perspective. Equal, they want to become equal. They like this, they will balance the society. This balance will happen when male will help female to grow. Female will have their own separate, for example, it is a seesaw. Society is like a seesaw. Okay, male dominated all these years and female were subjugated. ఒక పార్క్ లో సీసా ఉందనుకోండి, if there is a park and there is a seesaw, one playing kind of thing, suppose it is a society and male dominated all these years, male were on the high point and female are subjugated on the low point. If you have to balance, male has to understand and female has to raise themselves, then it will be balanced, society will be balanced. Like that, you please picturize in your mind, definitely will understand.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is it right? Okay. Now, page number 203. If everybody is ready with your book, please check. By women as a reader, Showalter means that women readers are highly independent and objective. Is it true or false? Let us see in this slide. I will give you answer like this. Okay, it will be very funny. Female as, yes. See, female as, women as reader.
No, ma'am.
Then it is what? It is false.
False.
It is false. Then, very funny. Oh, the main problem of feminist critic is that it is male-oriented. Feminist critic, see, feminist critic is male-oriented. Consumers of male-produced literature. Is it true or false?
It is female oriented, I think.
No. Check.
Male.
False.
The main problem of feminist critic. Here it is feminist critic. Check with the slide. Feminist critic is that it is male oriented.
Yes, male oriented.
Yes. Fissures in male constructed literary exploitation and manipulation of female audience, right? It is true. It is true. Okay, next. Third one, according to Showalter, doing apprenticeship. What is meant by apprenticeship? As assistant, under somebody's assistance or under somebody's training. Apprenticeship to the male theories of Althusser, Rolla-Barthes, Mechery, and Jacques Lacan is an added advantage for feminist critic. It is an added advantage. True, it is doing apprenticeship means learning from them. It's true. We have learned from them to become independent. Then the adaptation of a male pseudonym. Like I have given you the example of George Eliot. What is the actual name of George Eliot? Mary Ann Evans. It is related to that question. Okay. The adaptation
Jane Austen also wrote one novel, but she didn't specify her name.
Yes.
She wrote book.
She has published that book under as an anonymous writer. As an anonymous writer, without any name, anonymous writer. But Mary Ann Evans deliberately changed her name into George Eliot so that there will be no problem. There will be no rejection from publishers of her novels. Okay. Next, that is related to this question. The adaptation of a male pseudonym or male pen name. If you want to write, you can write pen name also there. On pseudonym, you can write pen name, okay? Or changed name. By some women writers during the second half of the 19th century, as per Showalter, should be appreciated positively.
False.
Correct. Very good. Means you have listened to the big marathon lecture attentively. Very good. The kind of women criticism recommended by Showalter is called as gynocritics. True. Exactly. Yes. See, we have done exercise. Then we will take up questions. You asked me to take up questions also.
Another one is there, ma'am.
The
Is
first
there another
page for the modern feminist critics is that
is it in which page? It is in which page?
204, ma'am.
Oh, I don't have 204 page. Okay, please do your self work. Okay, I will give you questions.
Okay, ma'am.
Is there a text in the class? Feminist criticism. She advocates. This is Elaine Shawwalter. Yes. Why does questions? Okay. Why does Showalter find feminist critique inadequate? Why does Showalter find the feminist critique, CRITIQUE, feminist critique inadequate? Why this is feminist critique means feminist women as reader inadequate means it is not sufficient. Why? Because there are gaps, male constructed literary history, there were omissions, misconceptions about women. They were only created as images and stereotypes. Moreover, through the perspective of male.
Ma'am, once repeat, please.
Why does Showalter find the feminist critique inadequate, not sufficient? Then, second, another question, distinguish between, otherwise differences between the feminist critique and gynocriticism. Feminist critique and gynocriticism. What is feminist critique? Any one of you, please let me know what is feminist critique. It is on the slide.
Most of the feminists, they are imitated to male norms. They are
Okay, you are correct. But I need the phrase. I need the phrase. Feminist critique means women as readers. Feminist critique means women as readers. Then, what is gynocriticism? What is gynocriticism?
Women as
Writers. So, distinguish between differences between feminist critique means women as reader and gynocriticism means women as writer. Women as reader, women as writer. Whenever somebody will question you, what is Elaine Shawwalter's towards a feminist poetics means in which she has distinguished women as reader, women as writer. That's it. That is nutshell. చిన్న ఒకటే వర్డ్ లో చెప్పాలి, వన్ సెంటెన్స్ లో చెప్పాలంటే ఇట్లా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి మీరు. What is therein towards a feminist poetics? There is the difference between women as a reader and women as a writer. Then she has given the three phases as first feminist, then feminine, and then female. In feminine, they imitated. In feminist, they completely are opposite or protesting. In female, they are cool. They are calm, just like doing meditation. Last one is problems and prospects. That's it. Now, there is very good question. Another question. Trace the history of feminist criticism. Trace the history of feminist criticism. That's it. Trace the history of feminist criticism. This PDF, complete PDF.
Okay, ma'am.
PPT. This PPT will give you this complete history of feminist criticism, especially focusing on Elaine Shawwalter's essay. Clear?
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, I request you to, can you provide the yesterday's class a PDF, not only
Yes,
the PDF and the recording class also, ma'am, because you are explaining very, that is why.
I don't know, Parimala, I don't know about that recording and all. If you want me to provide that PPT, definitely I will put that PPT, this 2 PPTs today by evening. But what about that recording? I don't know. How will you get that recording? I don't know.
Ma'am,
Because
we can
recording and everything is done by the authority. Means even thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful. Thank you very much, Pranita. Because this explanation happened only because of you, because of your interest. I was able to help you like this.
Ma'am, your explanation is very elaborately very nice, ma'am.
Thank
We
you,
are
Rakshita.
able to follow each and every point, and we can able to write the notes also.
Very
Thank
nice.
you so
Please
much,
do
ma'am.
that.
Thank you so much.
Though you have your, university material, though I will provide you PPTs, try to correlate both these materials and write your own notes. That will be very wonderful. That will come out wonderfully because you will put your own words. You will write with your own interest. That will help you to grow inside, to grow in your vocabulary, in your perspective also. Don't depend only on the material which is provided by Osmania University and the material which is given by me. Correlate both. You combine these two and write your own notes. That will be wonderful. I'm telling you. And there is no need of preparation for your exam time also. At the time of exam, you can go and write happily. Okay, if you have time. This will not happen in a rush or in something where you will be under stress. When you are free, when you are calm, put your expertise in that thing.
And madam, could you tell us what do we do's and don'ts while in examination, madam?
Yes, very good question.
Because to get more marks or
yes. Try to write the apt answer which is related, which is given in your exam. Nobody will ask you to write the summary. Any of it, not only in criticism, but any of these papers, they will not ask you to write summaries about the things. They will ask you to analyze. What analysis or what you have learned from that topic, that you should put on your answer. You should include in your answer. What is your perspective? Some questions they will discuss so and so. Then your answer should be like in a discussion form, not just writing everything or copying like thing. No. Some questions will be elucidate the topic or elucidate T.S. Eliot's tradition and individual talent. Elucidate means you have to judge. You have to put your own points, what you have learned, whether you agree with T.S. Eliot or you will not agree with T.S. Eliot. You can be frank even in the answer. Like that you have to present. Is it clear? Did you understand? See, all this happens when there is sufficient time, and to plan that time of 2 hours or 2.5 hours, your participation is very much needed. You should be well prepared. Then your examination will go very well.
Ma'am, this time also they'll give only 2 hours to write.
Yes, maybe because there is a threat of corona. They will, and we should not be in a social gathering for so much long hours, like in 3 hours or like that.
Ma'am, how to write an assignment, ma'am?
Assignment, there are questions, and you check with the material and PPTs provided, include those points and write assignments. Maybe they will give you guidelines also for those assignments.
Last year we did not have any guidelines. We got less marks in some subjects, so that's why I'm asking.
Ma'am, we should give the borders and we should give the side headings, and with a neat handwriting, if you present it, it will be very good because I have got a good marks in that. Okay. See, these guidelines you should put in that group, in your group, then everybody will follow. Actually, they have kept. Actually, they kept.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. So tomorrow I will be dealing with main aspects of Indian aesthetics. And once again, from 1:30 to 3:30 also, it will be my class. So two classes. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock is one class, one topic. I will be dealing with one topic. And 1:30 to 3:30 also, I will be dealing with another topic. So By tomorrow, if as per plan, accordingly, we can complete 4 topics. Okay? Please cooperate. Tomorrow also, if with your cooperation, I will try my best to give you all information.
Okay, madam. Thank you so
Good
much.
afternoon, ma'am. This is Haripriya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, let me know what is your problem.
Yeah, your explanation is so good, ma'am.
Thank you.
So clear also. No need to read further also, ma'am.
Oh, no, don't do that. Please.
No, it's very clear, ma'am.
Please revise. Please remember all the points. Try to put your own points also. Add your own explanations also in that PPT or main notes, whatever it is. Don't depend only on one perspective or one view. Add some more. See, this I will tell to my students also, my regular batch students also. We have, for any course, for example, semester, we have 4 months of time. In this 4 months of time, we teachers, we lecturers will give them all the 5 papers material. Then generally student tendency or student attitude will be చదువుకుందాంలే ఇంకా టైం ఉంది కదా అనుకుంటారు. కరెక్ట్ గా 1 month ముందు కూర్చుంటారు. బాగా చదివే పిల్లలు అయితే 1 month ముందు కూర్చుంటారు. Within 1 month they will do desperate preparation. And by the time they will remember at least, half of the portion. They will prepare half of the portion. And by the time they will go to the examination hall with so much of hurry-burry, so much of confusion, so much of disturbances and distractions, only within 2 hours they have to prove their talent. See? Yeah, the time is very congested. 4-hour semester system. Only 1 month of preparation, that too only half. And even in that half, it will cut off to 2 hours. And your evaluation, what about your evaluation? So, you need to prepare wonderfully without any blot or without any lapses. This is my sincere suggestion. Don't think that madam's explanation is good and everything is hidden in our mind. After this, you will have to add so many points, right? Like a jug, you will go on adding many things. There is a problem of overflow also. At one point of time, it will get overflowed. So you have to prepare, always revise. Revision will help you a lot. Okay? Anybody, do you want me to give you any other suggestion? Tomorrow, it is fixed by Anil Krishna sir. Anil Krishna sir has fixed my timetable that tomorrow 11 to 1 class and 1:30 to 3:30 another class.
Can you also help with that other Ferdinand de Saussure's object of study PDF, ma'am?
Yes.
If you have that, please share that one, ma'am.
Which one? Objective type?
Object of study by Ferdinand de Saussure, sir. It is somewhat hard, ma'am. Hard to understand.
What is the topic? Ferdinand de Saussure, sir? Structuralism?
Structuralism, ma'am.
Okay.
If you have that, please share that one also.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Not now. After completion of your classes, one day I will send. When these classes are happening, when we are in the mainstream of our lectures, I will not share. I will only share my topics. Later I will give you Ferdinand de Saussure also. Okay. See, because Ferdinand de Saussure's topic is dealt by another professor, I cannot involve like that. I should not involve. Okay. Later I will help you. Please understand, okay? We should not go in between somebody's class or topics like that. Definitely, I will help you, but after some time.
Okay.
So
Thank you, ma'am.
We are getting late for other class. We will have one more session at 1:30, I think. Please cooperate, and tomorrow, please join by 11 o'clock, okay? Thank you for today. I will send you these PPTs by evening. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.